Hello everyone. This is the story about what if Naruto becomes the Pokemon Master. Before we start the video, please hit the subscribe button and like the video as well. I have created playlist of every what if, make sure to check them as well. So, without any further ado, let's start. After he had cheered Dawn and Roland up a little, Naruto had returned his Latios to its Pokeball before he walked off, telling the two of them that he had some training to do. 141. 142. 143. 144. 145. 146. 147. 148. 149. 150. Naruto was currently doing push-ups in order to warm up his muscles and get some blood flowing into them. 3 of the 6 of the Pokemon that he was currently carrying with him were out of their Pokeballs. Those 3 Pokemon were his Dragonite, Greninja and Espeon. Naruto and his Pokemon had picked one of the empty training fields in a secluded area in Hearthome City to get their training session in. This way they would not be bothered by too many people, nosy reporters, Naruto had discarded the orange shirt with an Uzumaki clan spiral on it, which he was wearing earlier today, and was now only dressed in a pair of black cargo pants which were somewhat similar to the ones that the Anba back in the Hidden Leaf Village would usually wear. Naruto made it a point to train with all of his Pokemon at the same time. Even if simple drills like this were little to no challenge to him at all, it still did make his Pokemon more motivated knowing that their trainer was training along with them. These push-ups are getting way too easy. Espeon, jump on my back. The Sun Pokemon obeyed its trainer's command as it landed on Naruto's back with a grace surpassing that of which some feline-like Pokemon such as Persian possessed. Once Naruto was sure that his Espeon was in a comfortable seating position, he resumed doing his push-ups again with renewed gusto. 151. 152. 153. 154. 155. 156. 157. 158. 159. 160. Naruto's was forced to stop yet again, this time not to increase the weight on his back but because he saw familiar Pokemon had used teleport and was now standing straight in front of him. This Pokemon was a bipedal, humanoid creature with some feline features. It was primarily gray in color with a long, purple tail. On top of its head were 2 short, blunt horns, and it had purple eyes. A tube extended from the back of its skull to the top of its spine, bypassing its neck. It had a defined chest and shoulders, which resembled a breastplate. The 3 digits on each one of its hands and feet had spherical tips. Its tail was thick at the base, but thin before ending in a small bulb. This was Mewtwo, a Pokemon created by science. Tell me, Mewtwo, have you managed to learn that of which we seek? Asked Naruto as he stopped doing his push-ups and was now lying down while using both of his elbows to prop himself up slightly. Naruto was not worried of people seeing or hearing this conversation. He knew that Mewtwo would have used its psychic powers and checked to see if there was anyone else nearby. This Pokemon was almost never careless. I am now able to confirm that Cyrus is in fact the leader of Team Galactic. His next target is the Spear Key. Cyrus and his fellow Team Galactic members have already obtained the Splash Plate and recently the Iron Plate. However, it appears that they have yet to acquire the Draco Plate. Stated Mewtwo. I see, this is certainly troubling. Spoke Naruto as he was thinking the situation through in his head. What will you do now, Naruto? Will you go after them? No, there is no need. I will make a different move. As things are, Mewtwo, you and I both do not have the slightest clue where the Draco Plate lies. From this I can tell that it will not be a walk in the park for Team Galactic to track down this artifact. However, we do have one advantage over Team Galactic. We both know that the Spear Key is located in the Solation Ruins. We will use this to our advantage. From the tablet that was found with the lustrous orb, which Naruto had finally managed to decipher with help from certain sources, we know that all 3 of the plates, the Splash Plate, Iron Plate and Draco Plate, are needed in order for a person to obtain the Spear Key. For now I will have several people stationed both in and nearby Solation Town. They will inform me of any strange behavior that is going on in those parts immediately. With this in mind, I will be able to get there to stop Team Galactic from moving closer to achieving their goals, whatever they are. If this is what you have decided, then I will go along with it. I have faith that you will be able to stop Team Galactic before it is too late. I will respect your wishes and stay hidden from humans, aside from yourself, for the time being. Mutwo paused for a moment before resuming. It appears that someone is headed this way. In that case, I feel it is time for me to depart. With that, Mutwo teleported away. Naruto sighed. Mutwo was also one of his Pokémon, but unlike the others, Naruto gave Mutwo the freedom of roaming the world as it pleased. Naruto was reluctant to capture Mutwo at first, but upon the genetic Pokémon's request, Naruto had agreed. Mutwo was the only Pokémon of Naruto's that he had not used in battle till date. Naruto and Mutwo both had an understanding. Naruto and Mutwo were two beings brought together by painful pasts that were able to connect with one another. Naruto would not force Mutwo to battle for him unless Mutwo himself wanted to. That said, Mutwo still helped Naruto a lot in gathering information. Upon learning that Team Galactic was planning something regarding the adamant and lustrous orbs, which were connected to Dialga and Palkia, Mutwo decided to assist Naruto and stop those fiends at any cost. Mutwo did not know what Team Galactic's plan was entirely, but one thing it did know was that nothing good could come from it. Mutwo had seen humans like this before and was well aware of the intentions of such people. Mutwo would make sure that those legendary Pokémon, Dialga and Palkia, would not be forced to obey a human against their own will. The incident of their first meeting is a story for another time. A few minutes later, Cynthia had gone to look for Naruto shortly after he left. She waited for a while, about 15 minutes give or take, before she took off in the same direction the Namikaze did. Having arrived at the location where Naruto and his Pokémon were, the Sinnoh champion was treated to quite the sight. Naruto was shirtless and doing push-ups with his Dragonite seated on his back. Cynthia unconsciously licked her lips as she saw Naruto's muscles relaxing and contracting with each repetition of the exercise, sweat glistening down his toned body. Some not-so-pure thought stated to enter her mind, and she had to refrain herself from looking or rather gazing hungrily at his body, like a predator going after its prey. Just then an image of two of her Elite Four members giving her matching cheeky grins popped into her head as she recalled the memory of the day those two teased her while the three of them were watching the news broadcast of how Naruto managed to capture Hunter J. What was wrong with her? Damn Eren and Flint, why did they have to say something like that in the first place and screw up her thoughts? Those two were going to get another earful from her when she met them next. Naruto, seeing Cynthia's reaction from the corner of his right eye, continued performing the aforementioned exercise, oblivious to the thoughts and inner turmoil, if one could call it that, which could possibly be going through her head. How are you even able to do something like this with such ease? Asked a stupefied Cynthia as she looked at Naruto as if he had grown a second head for trying something like this. Why not? It is not that hard. It only takes a little determination and hard work. Anyone can do it, replied Naruto in a nonchalant tone, not even breathing hard, as he did another push-up. After Mutwo had teleported away, Naruto had decided to up the weight even more as he asked his Espion to get off his back before telling his Dragonite to aid him increasing the difficulty of this exercise. Fast forward another 10 minutes and the scene you would now be seeing would be Naruto and Cynthia, resting against the trunk of a tree, side by side. Cynthia had gotten Naruto to stop doing his warm-up, not that he told her that, as it would make her freak out if she hadn't already done so after witnessing the previous display, before the two of them had found a place to kick back for some time. Naruto had used a towel that he was carrying him to wipe of his sweat. Though Cynthia said that she did not mind it all that much, Naruto still felt that it would be the appropriate thing to do. Naruto, can you tell me where you caught your Greninja? I know about the existence of this Pokémon, but I have not known that there was a trainer who owned one, prior to today, that is, questioned Cynthia in a soft voice. Naruto made a hand gesture towards the ninja Pokémon, who was still out of its Pokeball, which made it rush to its master's side. Naruto then started rubbing water and dark-type Pokémon's head in an affectionate way. One could not tell if Greninja was enjoyed this treatment or not, seeing as the Pokémon did not give out any outward reactions. I met this Greninja in the woods in Azalea Town a few years ago, when I protected it while it was being attacked by a group of Beedrill. After treating this Pokémon, which was injured at the time, it kind of gained a sense of respect for me and wanted to follow me on my journey. Pokémon like my Latios, Naruto refrained from mentioning his Darkrai for certain reasons, are able to converse in both the human and Pokémon language. This was also how I communicated with my Greninja. Though it seemed like this Greninja had some very bad memories, so I did not push it to tell me about its past. I opted to give it some time and let Greninja tell me when it was ready, on its own accord. I informed Professor Elm about this new Pokémon, and since he could not find out anything much about it, he got it registered as a newly discovered Pokémon that lived in the Johto region. That is what people came to believe. Recently, about 2 weeks ago, I came to learn from my Greninja that it apparently hails from a region called the Kalos region. I presume that there are also many other unseen Pokémon living in that region. Since Kalos is not a region recognized by the Pokémon League Committee, which only recognizes the Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, Sinnoh and Unova regions, I am not surprised that most people I have asked so far have never heard of this place. Explained Naruto as he finished telling a summarized version of his meeting with Greninja and the ninja Pokémon's origins as well. Naruto knew that Greninja would not mind this information being disclosed, not anymore at least. It had said so itself when it told Naruto of its past 2 weeks ago. "I see," said Cynthia as she assumed a thinking pose like the one she would normally take up when she could not decide what flavored ice cream to have. "I thank you for trusting me enough to tell me this." "Thank you, Naruto." Cynthia then gave the blonde a bright smile, which caused him to give her a foxy grin in return. The two of them just sat there and enjoyed each other's company for a while more before Cynthia decided to break the silence. "You have caused quite the stir in the ranks of the Sinnoh Elite Four after your recent deed of capturing Hunter J. I wouldn't say that defeating and capturing Hunter J is such a big achievement. Sure, she may be strong, but she is nowhere near as powerful as you or your Elite Four are. Plus, if I didn't do it, then that whore would probably still be running around somewhere in Sinnoh. The police force is not capable of taking down such a criminal. She is too cunning and would evade them effortlessly. Thus, I saw the need to step in and put her down once and for all. Consider it like an act of a good Samaritan." Cynthia looked up at the sky above, making it appear as if she was thinking about something while she also adjusted her seating position to get a little more comfortable. "My Garchomp has been training really hard as of late. It seems like it really wants a rematch with your Dragonite." Naruto raised an eyebrow at the sudden change of topic by Cynthia. "By all means, your Garchomp should have won that battle. It is definitely stronger than my Dragonite. I used Toxic to startle you, and make you try and rush to finish off the battle. That Giga Impact that you used near the end of the match was your downfall. From the way that you used that move, I can guess that no trainer has ever exploited Giga Impact's glaring weakness like I did. If you can anticipate things like this, expect the unexpected, then it will be a lot harder for people to beat you," stated Naruto as he waved off Cynthia's praise yet again, which made the blonde-haired woman huff in exasperation. She felt like slapping Naruto on the back of his head. Why did this guy keep playing off his skills and accomplishments? Cynthia really appreciated the way Naruto conversed with her like this and shared information with her. It made her feel more like Cynthia, like herself, not the champion of Sinnoh. Most people would not like to divulge their secrets, but Naruto acted in a manner opposite to that, though Cynthia did not know that Naruto made it seem like he was telling her everything, where in actuality he only told her what he felt was nothing too important. Things like how to recreate the Rasengan. The nice moment between the two ended when Naruto got up because he remembered that he had some matters to attend to. He had to make a few phone calls to certain people tonight. Team Galactic would not get their filthy hands on the spear key, not if he had anything to say about it. Naruto offered a hand to Cynthia, who was still leaning against the trunk of the tree. "You are leaving already?" asked Cynthia from her seating position, a frown on her face. She really enjoyed the Namikaze's company. "Unfortunately, yes, I have certain things to do that cannot wait," replied Naruto. Cynthia looked at him for a couple of seconds before she gave a nod of acceptance and took Naruto's hand, letting him pull her up. Naruto walked over to where he had left his shirt before slipping it back on. Naruto then returned his Greninja, Espeon and Dragonite to their Pokeballs. Naruto gave a small wave to Cynthia, who waved back, Before he headed for the room he had rented in the Hearthome City Pokémon Center so he could contact his agents and spies away from the prying eyes of the public. The rest of the day passed quite quickly with nothing much to mention. The next day at the Hearthome City Stadium, Naruto was having a bad day. Why? This is because when he woke up and was headed to the cafeteria in the Pokémon Center to get his breakfast, he saw a news broadcast on the television at the Pokémon Center. That was not what bothered him. What bothered him was what information he had gained upon watching it. Apparently Hunter J had somehow managed to escape from prison this morning. This just gave Naruto a massive headache. Now not only did he have to worry about Team Galactic but he also had to deal with a psychopathic woman who was probably out for his blood. Not that Naruto was worried, he could kick her ass all the Kanto 10 times over. Those stupid fools who called themselves members of the Sinnoh police force. Naruto had just lost even more respect for those knuckleheads. Was eating donuts the only thing that they could do right? Did they always sleep on the job? What was Looker, an international police officer and the head of the Sinnoh police department, doing? He needed to tighten up the security in those jail cells for crying out loud. Naruto knew that if he was ever put in charge of that police department, he would put them through a training regimen straight from hell, even worse than the one he put all of his Pokémon through. That would get them on their feet and moving properly. Currently Naruto was preparing for his semi-final tag battle matchup. He really needed to blow off some team. That just meant bad news for both of his opponents. The first battle of the second day of the Hearthome City Tag Battle Tournament will feature Naruto and Conway vs Brock and Holly. Trainers, let out your Pokémon, announced Enta on the loudspeakers of the stadium. Blaziken, I need your assistance. Blaziken was a bipedal, chicken-like Pokémon. The majority of Blaziken's body was red with accents of beige, yellow, and gray. Behind its head, there were beige, hair-like feathers that continued downward and surrounded its chest and abdomen. It had a small red face with a V-shaped crest on its head. Blaziken's eyes were semicircular with yellow sclera and blue irises, and its mouth was similar to a hooked beak. It had a pair of featherless, gray hands with 3 fingers each, and 3 clawed toes that were barely visible due to the shaggy, yellow feathers on the bottom of its legs. Let's go Agron. Agron was a huge, bipedal Pokémon. It was primarily black with plates of silver-colored armor. The armor on its head had 2 pairs of holes with horns protruding from the foremost holes. Its forehead plating extended past its upper jaw in a small point. It had sky-blue eyes, and 2 nostril-like holes on the tip of its upper jaw. On the rim of its mouth were several pointed, fawn-like protrusions and the nape of its neck and back had gray-silver armor sections. It had wide, blunt spikes on its shoulders, and gray-silver bands on its arms and legs. Its hands and feet each had 3 claws. It also had a thick, long, black tail, with flint. Yeah, this is great. Now I get to see this Naruto use an awesome Pokémon, claimed an excited Flint, who was watching the battle from the same location he did yesterday. Fire types were always the best in his eyes. Calm down Flint, there is no need to get so worked up over such a small thing, reasoned the proprietor as he served Flint a cup of coffee. Back on the battlefield, once Naruto's and Conway had chosen their respective Pokémon, Brock and Holly followed suit. Krogunk, I choose you. Go Blastoise. Blastoise was a large, bipedal tortoise-like Pokémon. Its body was dark blue and was mostly hidden by its tough, brown shell. This shell had a pale yellow underside and a white ridge between the upper and lower halves, which also encircled Blastoise's arms. 2 powerful water cannons resided in the top sides of its shell. Blastoise's head had triangular ears which were black on the inside, small brown eyes, and a cream-colored lower jaw. Its arms were thick and striated with 3 claws on each hand. Its feet had 3 claws on the front and 1 on the back. It had a stubby tail. Holly's Blastoise is definitely going to be the tougher of the 2 to take down. Luckily, I know just the perfect move to use. It is time to pay a tribute to Gai-sensei, thought Naruto as a discreet smirk made its way to his lips, not that anyone saw it. As soon as the referee gave the signal to go, Holly decided to take the initiative and make the first move. Blastoise, use Hyper Beam. Blastoise opened its mouth and an orange ball appeared in front of Blastoise's mouth. It then released an orange beam from the ball at Blaziken and Agron. As the hyper beam neared, Conway, who had exchanged a hidden signal with Naruto when Holly called out the attack, stared at the orange beam impassively. Blaziken, block that hyper beam. Blaziken got in front of Conway's Agron, shielding it, and raised its right hand, allowing the hyper beam to make direct contact with said limb. The collision caused a small explosion. Upon its dissipation though, Brock and Holly as well a majority of the spectators were shocked to see that Blaziken looked no different than it did a minute ago. With the spectators, Naruto's Blaziken just stopped that hyper beam with one hand like it was child's play. Gapedash as he recalled how Naruto's Dragonite had caught Cynthia's Garchomp's Dragon Rush and wondered if this type of things were a regular occurrence with the Namikaze's Pokémon. Hyper Beam is one of the most powerful Pokémon attacks there is. To take it head-on like that and come out unscathed, what horrifying endurance that Blaziken must possess. Is this the level of a champion? Wondered Paul, at a loss for words. Back on the battlefield, Blaziken, use dig. Blaziken quickly used its bare hands and dug a hole underground, leaving Conway's Agron to handle matters with Brock's Krogunk for now. Blastoise won't be able to move for some time now that it has launched a hyper beam. That means I only have to worry about Krogunk. This puts me at an advantage due to the fact that Krogunk's poison-type attack will not affect my Agron at all. Thought Conway as he adjusted his glasses and waited patiently for the former gym leader of Pewter City to make the first move. Use Brick Break Krogunk. Krogunk's hand glowed white and it rushed at Conway's Agron as it tried to get close enough to land the hit. Conway, knowing of the range Brick Break needed to work, waited till the last moment, just as Krogunk was about 40 centimeters in front of Agron, before calling out his counter. Agron, hit Krogunk with Flash Cannon. Agron opened its mouth and a silver ball appeared in front of Agron's mouth. Agron then fired a silver beam from the ball at Brock's Krogunk. Getting hit at such close range dealt a lot of damage and sent Krogunk flying back a few feet. No one noticed that Naruto's Blaziken had yet to emerge from underneath the surface. That is until the Sage of Mount Mayaboku called out his next command. Blaziken, the time has come. Use the front lotus now. Blaziken burst out from underground and delivered a powerful kick to Blastoise's abdominal region, making Blastoise fly up into the air slightly. Blaziken then jumped into the air after Blastoise and one of its knees started to glow red-orange. Blaziken then struck Holly's Blastoise with its knee. Blaziken continued this motion over and over again, sending Blastoise higher and higher in the air with each hit. Blaziken proceeded to grab onto Blastoise as it prepared to use a slightly modified version of its seismic toss in midair. Blaziken, who had Blastoise firmly in its grasp, then started spinning wildly as the two Pokémon started to descend towards the ground. Upon making impact with the floor of the battlefield, a gigantic explosion, which sent both rubble and dust scattering around the battlefield, was kicked up. With the Sensational Sister. The Cerulean City Gym was closed today. Why was that? It was because the trio of Sensational Sister consisting of Daisy, Violet and Lily had learned of a certain prankster's participation in Hearthome City Tag Battle Tournament. Kya! Go Naruto-kun! You can do it! Send those two packing. They are no match for you. Cheered Daisy, Violet and Lily as they let out high-pitched squeals and dreamy sighs, acting like teenagers in love. They couldn't help it though. The man that they had a crush on was battling live on TV. Why are you three making such a big deal about this? Asked an annoyed Misty who was also watching the battle with her sisters. Sure, what she had just seen was impressive, but her sisters were acting like fangirls, which was so unlike them. Misty wondered what this Naruto had done that was so great that he was able to earn their affection to such a degree. In conjunction with Misty's question, Daisy, Violet and Lily all put fingers to their mouths as they told Misty to keep quiet. Battle Frontier HQ. Scott and his Frontier brains, excluding Brandon, were all gathered and watching Naruto's current battle under Scott's request. Scott had told his Frontier brains that he had found another potential candidate to join their ranks and that they should all watch how he battled. It wasn't a complete lie. Scott knew that if he presented Naruto with a moving battle facility like he did Brandon, then there was a good chance that the blonde would accept the offer. There were not many pesky rules that tied Frontier brains down and restricted their movements. Well, there were one or two, but those were already very little compared to the restrictions that Elite Four and Champion of each region had to put up with. Scott also wanted to get the opinion of his other frontier brains on Naruto's creative battle style. What an incredible series of high jump kicks that Blaziken used, commented Greta. She and her Medicam really had to step up their game. His bond with his Pokémon is truly splendid, praised Annabelle. That Blastoise just got the stuffing smashed out of it, added Noland, who was contemplating how well his Articuno would fare against Naruto's Blaziken. In the VIP box, Cynthia was sitting in the VIP box with Roland. After seeing the last tactic, the duo had varying reactions. Cynthia shook her head in disbelief. The only thought running through her mind was, Naruto has done it again. Where on earth does he pull these ideas out from? Cynthia felt genuinely intrigued as to how someone this talented could stay off the radar for so long. She was not aware that Lance had played a big role in ensuring that this had been made possible. Naruto had mind-boggling skills in stealth since childhood. A prime example was when he managed to sneak into the Hyuga clan compound one night and steal the undergarments of every adult Hyuga in Konoha while they were asleep. When those Hyuga woke up the next day, they would find said undergarments dyed in pink paint and hung on the rooftops of various houses in the Hidden Leaf village. Some were even hung on the Hokage monument. What good were their all-powerful eyes, Byakugan, then if they could not stop Naruto? Probably for peeping on women while they were in the bathhouses. The factor that made this all the more impressive was that Naruto was only 10 years old at the time. Still, Naruto was not perfect and he needed help every now and again. That was where Lance came in. Cynthia decided that she would watch the battle first and ponder more about this later. She then went back to doing what she was previously, happily licking the strawberry-flavored ice cream that she had bought before the match started. Meanwhile, Roland was bouncing up and down in his seat next to Cynthia. One could think that the boy was about to have an adrenaline rush. Naruto's battling skills were top of the line. That just added so much more thrill to this matchup. He was definitely going to tell his grand-aunt about this the next time he saw her, back on the battlefield. As the dust started clear, everyone could see that Blastoise was lying in a crater on the ground with swirls in its eyes indicating it was done for today. However, there was no sign of Blaziken. Blastoise is down in a flash. Blaziken's power is undeniable, stated Enta over the loudspeakers. This was one of the reasons Naruto loved using this technique. Unlike the original Front Lotus, Blaziken did not have to open the 8 gates, or rather it couldn't because, well, it was a Pokémon, but that did not matter at all. The reduced power of the Front Lotus used by the Hoenn starter was still more than powerful enough to get the job done. After all, Blaziken was not fighting trained ninja like Killer Bee, now was it? Plus with this, Blaziken also did not suffer the drawback of being extremely fatigued after using the technique. Sure, there was some fatigue, but that was to be expected. However, Blaziken could still move around just fine. A little slower than normal, but just fine. This was another reason why Naruto loved to teach these types of ninja-based attacks to his Pokémon. They packed a really powerful punch and his Pokémon would not even have to recharge. It was a win-win scenario for Naruto whichever way one decided to look at it. Once the remainder of the dust cleared, Brock could see that Naruto's Blaziken was in a crouching position behind his Krogunk with its hands both ignited in flames like it was preparing to use a fire punch. The only difference here was that Blaziken's hands were in the shape which was akin to that of a tiger hand seal. Krogunk, watch out! Warned Brock. It's too late for you to run. Never let your opponent get behind you. Now it is time for you to witness one of my teacher's favorite attacks. Spoke Naruto as a drumroll could be heard. Leaf Village Secret Finger Jutsu, 1000 Years of Death. As Naruto finished his sentence, Blaziken struck its flame-coated fingers into Krogunk's rear. Almost instantly, time seemed to slow down as all the hype died down and almost everyone in the stadium either sweat-dropped or face-faulted. Naruto could swear that he saw the silhouette of a certain mask-wearing Jonin giving him an eye smile while voicing, "That's my student." That short period of time eventually came to pass, as things started moving at regular speed once more. Krogunk was unceremoniously launched into the air like a rocket that had just taken off at top speed. Krogunk used both of its tiny arms to cover its abused spot while letting out a loud "Kroa," not that humans could understand what it was saying as they did not speak Pokémon language. The only response Krogunk's actions got a soft whisper from Meowth, Team Rocket's Meowth, saying, "I feel your pain." Anyway, back with Krogunk. Krogunk's protests became barely audible as it still remained airborne for some time. Eventually Krogunk, somehow, continued flying in the air until it flew out of the Hearthome City Stadium and landed onto the floor outside there with a resounding thud. The crash landing even caused an imprint of Krogunk's body to be left on that very spot on the floor. The Pokémon lost consciousness seconds later. It was a really embarrassing way for a Pokémon to be defeated. This battle was definitely going down in the history books, mostly for all the wrong reasons. Krogunk made a pledge on this fine day. It would never hit Brock with a poison jab ever again. The technique Blaziken used on it was a nightmare. Krogunk did not have the heart to keep its trainer in line anymore when Brock flirted with any random woman he laid his eyes on. Thanks for watching, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, comment down below and let me know. See you in the next video.